I've got my 2016 grand tour of my winter sowing containers for you. And before I go down there and show them to you, I'm going to go through all of, just showing you what I've planted this year, telling you how many I've got. I'm going to show you where I had them the last 2 years. My first 2 years of winter sowing, I had them right here in the grass. I'm up on the patio, my back, down by the garage here. And I liked having them really close, so I had whole bunch of 69 the first year and 152 I think the second year, all clustered right there. So it was really nice to water them, easy access. I could bend over and look at them. But on the second year, last year, I had this major ice slide. And I have a video I'll put down below for you. I think it was called Winter Sowing Near Disaster or something like that. We had a really bad ice storm, and you can't really see. It's on a slight grade here, but the first year I didn't have one tip over. It's a little bit of a grade. But anyway, I had them all sitting there, and a whole bunch of them toppled over, and they literally slid down the hill in this ice slide. And I lost a good number, not a lot, but enough to upset me, of my containers because all the soil was toppled inside. So I stopped having them up here, and then I moved them down here. This is my third garden, which I haven't even put the video out for you guys. I've had it for almost a year now because I don't know how to edit because I'm too busy. I got to learn to edit. Anyway, I'm going to do it, how I built this garden. I'm so darn happy with it, so darn proud of it. Now I'm committing on this video. I'm going to do the video on how I built this because it is absolutely my favorite. I'm going to model it and do another one. So anyway, I thought, well, I'll put them down here so they won't tip over and slide down the hill. So let's go in and look. And then I'll tell you my final count. And I'll kind of just buzz through so you can see what my thinking is here. When I bring them down from the house, that's my sunroom right there where I do all the planting. And I start them right here. And then as I filled up this side, then I move them here, and then I move them over here. And then when they started to sprout, I moved them here and here. Okay, those are my 5 sets of them. So I've got 2 that are just sprouting, ready to sprout, and a whole bunch that need transplanted this week. Mostly my greens, cold crops right there. And so now I kind of reorganized them just the other day I've got some herbs over here. I've got some lemon balm and some Malabar spinach. I've got 3 yard-long green beans, which I'm very excited about. What else I can't read my writing there. Oh, those are my Raven zucchinis. I've got 3 zucchini. I usually do a lot more, but that's it for now. These are all cucumbers. Really into cucumbers because I juice them and they give me good volume in my juice, and they're super anti-inflammatory, really good for you. I'm trying Persians for the first time. Double yields are my favorite. These make a lot of cucumbers on the vine, and they're big. What else? Now, these are all my tomato section, and these are my sweet peppers, which I love sweet peppers. And I have a whole bunch of new ones this year. And look down here. I love this. A little strawberry plant. Made it from a seed last year, and it was just teeny, and it's grown this big, and I'm protecting it from the snow and the cold with all my containers. So I've got hillbilly yellow slicers, some sun golds, beefsteaks, big red, sweetie cherry tomatoes, and one that we don't know the name of that we got in the store that's really good. Matt's wild cherry, copia striped, San Marzano tomato. Anyway, very exciting. And I'm getting into giant things this year. I got giant peppers, the giant Armenian cucumbers. Those are supposed to be really big. And then I've got my typical Jimmy Nardellos, Emerald Giants, orange bell peppers. I've got baby bell peppers, sweet chili giant pepper. No, sweet Chinese giant pepper. So I have 2 giants, the emeralds and the sweet Chinese. What's that one? Yellow monster. That's another. So I have 3 giant sweet peppers. So very excited about that. And then we'll get to these, and then the next one will be the ones that have already sprouted. These are my watermelon corner. Not as many this year. Since I started the group this year, which we'll talk more about later, I kind of spent more time in my group than I have in my garden, but I'm stopping that. I'm setting I'm getting back to the garden, and I'm going to be just in the group a little bit less. Love being with everybody, but a little bit less, so I can be more of a gardener. My cantaloupes, my hearts of gold, Berkeley Springs, and beans. I've never grown beans before, and I've got several people that have sent me beans. Thank you so much. I've got pole beans, dragon's tongue beans, sunset runner beans, greasy grits beans, and another pole back there. And they just started. Look, let's see what this one is. Canary. Oh, that's a melon. That goes over here. One of the beans just popped up. And they actually came and broke the soil. Here. It just makes me wonder, did I not plant them deep enough, sow them deep enough? Because they've broken the soil level. So I don't know if that's the way beans are supposed to sprout or not. But we'll see. They look like they need more soil on them. And then, so those are the ones that have not, let me focus here, sprouted yet. April 17th. So in the group, we have people that have got seeds that have not only sprouted, they've turned into full-blown seedlings, and they've transplanted, and some of them are actually eating them. So winter sowers, we are at such different states around the world, so don't ever compare and say, oh, well, so-and-so has their, their plants are popping out of the top, and my seeds haven't even sprouted yet. Neither are mine, right? Most of these were sown last day of February. I got some, and then March 27th, March 29th. So I'm a late winter sower. I like not having to cover and having hot, cold all winter and worrying about them dying. Okay, now let's just really quickly buzz through here. And don't let me forget to tell you my total count. The ones that need transplanted so badly, my red flame lettuce. This is from seed that I saved. My romaine lettuce, making sure that you can see that. Arugula is just going crazy. That got a little bit of burn. One night I had to cover. Whenever the leaves are touching the inside and you have a freeze, it will get a little leaf burn, but the plants themselves are going to be fine. Michihili Chinese cabbage. Oh my gosh, this is so, I mean, like 2 days ago, it wasn't even half this big. This is going to be beautiful. It is going to turn into nice big Chinese cabbage heads. I'll separate those out, and I'll eat some as baby carrots. Cilantro. I've got sugar snap and snow peas, upland cress. What's that one? More upland cress, sugar snap peas. And yes, it's worth it, even though they grow really fast, and you can put them in really soon, direct sowing. Look at that, to have nice big seedlings like that this early in the game. Nice jump start. And then lastly down here, my good Dino Kale, more arugula, cilantro. I usually don't do this on my first winter sowing video of the season. You usually don't get a sneak peek until the big reveals. What's that one? Swiss chard. Never grown that. Oh, and celery. Look at these little babies. My celery turned out so great last year, first time. Really big heads, like 2 feet tall. And they grew right in my 8-inch growing tubs. These little tubs right here. Celery grew right down in that bed. Let me focus it again. And I couldn't believe how big they were, so super healthy. And lastly, this is not part of my count, but I did some direct winter sowing, which means I don't put them in the milk jugs. I actually simulate milk jugs, and it's a no-transplant method, which I'll have a video down below for you on no-transplant direct sowing. And this is actually a hybrid of that. It's mini no-transplant direct sowing. The names are getting ridiculous. I haven't even brought these up. These are sugar snap peas, and they've been in about, I want to say, a week and a half, and they're all sprouting beautifully. Why didn't I just put them in the ground without the cups? Because it had just stopped being frozen ground. They would have died, and the critters get them, even in the winter. So I have them really pushed down hard in the soil so they don't blow away. I've never had one blow away, but look how beautiful. So I'll be able to remove these cups. I'll let them get all the way up to the top inside, and then I'll remove the cups, and then I'll just vine them up the fence here. So you can see down there, that is direct winter sowing. And you can see the condensation's fabulous. It's just, I'm simulating that milk jug, which is by far the best container to do winter sowing or milk jug sowing. There's a million names, mini greenhouse sowing. And then here's some, what is this? Garlic chives that came in back up from last year. And this last one here is not winter sown, but it's just garlic, my first garlic. So anyway, what was my count? Let me back up and let you see the last view. So, I'm such an overachiever. I always like to do more each year. So I should have done more this year. But I just was kind to myself and decided I'm just going to do what I can do. This is 114 containers. And the reason why I only did 114 instead of 162 like last year, or 152, 152 maybe. Yeah, it was 69, then 152 the second year, is because I did two new things. I did shallower seeds in the containers, which I think is going to yield more plants. And I did more seeds in the container, which will also yield more plants. Like instead of that right there, I might have done 5 watermelons, but I did 9 or 10. So I still am probably going to get just as many plants as I did last year, if not more, but in less containers. Actually, I should, just to wrap this up, I have some direct winter sowing up on the patio that's included in this count. What did I say? It was 103, and then I added 10, 11, 114. Okay. So here is the direct winter sowing. I just watered that lettuce. It looks all smashed down. But again, the direct winter sowing is where I actually sow the seeds in the container they're going to stay permanently in with a dome. The dome is the key. Something to cover it to simulate winter sowing jugs. And here are my 8 that I have another video on. Down below, we'll have a link for it, on No-Transplant direct winter sowing. And I'll just give you a sneak peek, because you have to see the whole thing on the other videos. Look at that. Mesclun mix and parsley. These have only been in here about 3 weeks. I am so excited about that. Look at that spinach right there. So direct winter sowing is the way to go. It just means you have to have a lot more containers, a lot of domes to go with them, and a lot of space to put them. But now none of these will need transplanted, and that guy won't need transplanted. So you have seen it. 2016, total count 114. And thanks so much for joining me. Make sure you join our winter sowing group if you haven't already. There's a link down below. We're having a blast over there. A couple thousand people from all over the world. And we're all really learning and becoming, good food growers. It's not just it's a social group too, but it's also about really learning how to winter sow and grow fruits and vegetables and herbs for the rest of your life out of your home in your own backyard. Love you guys. Sending you much love. I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.